What's going on, everybody? It's been far too long. And if there's anybody out there still watching, welcome back. So I've got all kinds of things to talk about in this video. I've got a brand new hot tent setup, a brand new stove, all kinds of new gear, some delicious food to cook, and it's going to be a great time. As always, you're welcome to come along. And hey, let's catch up. It's been a long time. Okay, the stove and the tent are set up, and before I get the chatting away here, I'm gonna have to go find some firewood because the temperature's dropping rapidly. It's only 11 o'clock in the morning and it's below 50 degrees, and there's all kinds of moisture in the air, and it's been raining the last 2 days, so the woods are soaking wet. So it's going to be an extra effort to get that stove going, but once I get a good stack of wood going and get the fire established, I'll get back with you and we'll talk. Okay, I just sawed this piece here. Check it out. Locust. And it's up off the ground, which is nice. And there's quite a bit of it, so I think I can stretch this and make it get me through the night. Okay, so it's a bit later now. The fire is going nicely inside the stove, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the stove and the tent. So the stove is actually a stove that I found on Amazon by Trek Revive. I was a little bit hesitant at first because I had not heard of the brand before, but I started looking into it, and although there weren't any reviews that I could find online anywhere, it did seem to be a quality build. So it has these air intakes on the side. The upside down arrows are actually part of a baffle that brings air to the top of the stove, and here we have a side vent, and there's one on the other side as well. No need for a vent on the door. If I do need to vent anything at all, I can open up the front door and let a little bit of air in. Let's see. And as I said, there's another vent right here on the bottom, which is nice because you get the back burn. Right here you can see the damper has 4 screws as opposed to my old stove, which only had 2 holding it in. But anyway, I am so far very happy with the stove. Seems to be working excellent. I've got that damp locust in there right now, and it is toasty hot. So yeah, another feature down here on the bottom is the legs come up from the ground a little bit rather than going flush across. So you have a bit more, you can see right here one of them is dug in a little bit further than this side. A little bit more leveling ability with those. Also, once again, I've got the perforated holes. If I'm expecting a lot of wind and I want to stake my stove down, I can easily do it. We've got a new stove jack up there. That's another improvement that I've made. It's Just your basic, I don't know, I guess you'd call it your Devo hat stove jack. We'll go outside and take a look at it. A bit more waterproof, snowproof, I guess, than the other one. Probably going to get a lot less water through there in a downpour than I would just having it straight through the stock stove jack. So you can see it's burning pretty hot. There's not a lot of smoke coming off of this chimney. That locust burns very well, doesn't let off a lot of smoke to begin with. I think that's why Popcorn Sutton liked it so much in his moonshine stills. Very stealthy. So I know some of you are going to be saying, hey Brant, you said you got a new hot tent. That's exactly the same tent that you had before. It may appear to be the same tent on the surface, but this is actually the Luxe Mini Peak XL Pro. And what makes it different than the regular Mini Peak XL is this edition has snow skirts. And there are a few other details as well that are a little bit different than the original version. I actually believe there's more fabric covering up the stove jack, at least on this model there is. You can see there's sort of a larger trapezoid, and I believe on the last model there was just a tiny little flap that didn't do a great job of covering up the stove jack. So that's nice. I'll probably put a clothesline back there. I brought a clothesline with me. I'll hang that up a little bit later. That's useful for drying gloves and socks and, you know, just about anything. So yeah, I liked my old Mini Peak XL so much that I got the newer version with the snow skirts. I beat that old tent up. I mean, I probably had it out at least 40 nights that I know of, and yeah, it held up really well. I did do a bunch of repairs to it, but it was just time to get a new one, and I saw through Three Ridges Gear Company, I believe that's what they're called, who is distributing Luxe in the United States now, that they had this newer model, and I thought, well, I looked at a bunch of different tents and thought anything bigger is going to become a car camping tent, because most of the dome tents and tents with larger amounts of room in them, they were all too heavy. They're all car camping tents, and I'm thinking, well, if I'm going to go ahead and do the car camping tent thing, I'm just going to go probably Kodiak canvas cabin tent and just you know, do the whole deal. I'll get a cot and a table and a larger wood stove, and I'll use that when I go camping at state parks or whatever, or just you know, boondocking. That'll be a great tent for that. But the Luxe Mini Peak XL was such a great tent that I decided I'm going to go ahead and get the newer version, because there wasn't really anything else that really appealed to me. Anything else, like I said, was a little bit heavier, and if I was going to upgrade in space, I might as well upgrade in space and go for all the square footage I can possibly get, because at that point weight's not going to matter. So here's another nice new piece of gear. It's this soft cooler, which I pretty much got to be my cook kit. It fits nicely in the top of my backpack, and I've got everything in there. Lighter, titanium spoon, frying pan, canister, my cook pots, my mug, titanium plate. In this pocket right here, I've got some utensils, a pepper shaker, some hot sauce, pan gripper. And in the side here, side pocket, I've got my stove and my canister stabilizer. Here's another nice pocket right here on the side. I can keep my canister in there if I'm not using my stove while I'm in camp. I also have my cutting board. And in here, ooh, look at that. I've got stuffing, green bean casserole, ham, sweet potatoes, and I believe I have some cranberry sauce as well. Yeah, homemade cranberries. Also got an onion roll over there, and after a while we're gonna get cooking. So the bathtub floor I'm using is by One Tigris, and it's about 5.5 to 6 inches tall, which is quite a bit bigger than the Luxe bathtub floor. And also it has these 2 adjustments here, so you can really square it off in the corners and get it rigid, which I really like. And there's not a lot of debris coming up over the edge here. I mean, 6 inches is very good. And a lot of bathtub floors, they're only 3.5 inches, and they have a tendency to kind of droop in the middle. They don't really do their job, so to speak. It's with this new bathtub floor, I'm not experiencing any of that. I think it was, I don't remember the price. It was under 50 bucks. It was relatively inexpensive. It came with 4 steaks, and so far so good. I really am very happy with it. So it's about 2 o'clock, and that's really all the wood I have left, which it's actually quite a lot more than it looks. Need to get more of this kindling. What I usually do is I'll get a good bed of coals going. I'll choke the stove back, and then when I'm ready to cook, or if I really need to reheat the tent again, I'll just throw some of the small stuff on, and it makes it a lot easier to catch the big stuff. So I think right now what I'm going to do is go get some more wood. I'm not going to bore you with all that. When I come back, it's going to be time to cook, because I'm going to be hungry. It's a bit later now, and there's a lot more wood than there was last time. Got some maple here, a bit of oak, and some more locust, and the majority of that is locust, so I should have enough to burn the whole night. I forgot to check and see what time it is, but last time I looked it was already 2 o'clock, and that was way before I started processing the wood. So it gets dark around 5:36. By 6 it should be pretty much completely dark. But I am very hungry. I've worked up an appetite processing this wood, and I'm going to go ahead and start heating up this food. Okay, that might not be the best presentation that I've ever made, but I've got sweet potatoes, green bean casserole, stuffing, ham, and cranberry sauce, and also an onion roll. I'll catch up with you when I'm done eating. It's a bit later now. It's about 5:30, and It's almost dark. Stove is kicking nicely, and I really enjoyed my dinner. It's been great to be back out camping in the hot tent. And you know, I have done some camping trips in this past year. Not a whole lot, but I have done at least like a half dozen trips. I just really haven't felt like videoing. I don't know if it's a combination of Garvey not being here, a little bit of a lack of motivation there, maybe a little bit of YouTube burnout, maybe a little bit of both. However, I'm back now, and I'm gonna kind of try and update you about the last year or so, what I've been up to. I'll try and throw some video clips and some photos in as well, so you can get some visuals. But yeah, it's been a really great year. I really enjoy being at mountain crossings. I've been seeing a lot of people that I know through the YouTube. That's been nice. Some people that I have not met before in person, I was able to meet in person in the store and put a face to a name. Of course, it's always strange because everyone knows my face, but I may have someone comment on my YouTube channel for years and never see their face or have any clue what they even look like. So it's always nice meeting people in person. That's been enjoyable. Of course, helping the hikers out when they're so fresh and green sometimes can be a challenge, but that's enjoyable as well. I love what I do. We have an orange kitty, so we noticed him right at the beginning of September, and nobody knew anything about him or where he came from, and we asked around. Nobody knew where he came from, and he was just super skittish. He would run away and wouldn't make eye contact with us. Last winter, he came around and just started talking to us, like, hey, feed me, feed me, feed me. And he was living under the building last winter. There's a little ventilation portal that he can get into, and it's actually heated under there. Every time I would go to feed him last winter, I would feel the heat coming out of there. So Orange Kitty has a nice warm place to sleep in the winter, and we're actually getting him a heated house for the winter. But he's been great. He's super friendly now. I mean, he's just not even the same cat as he was a year ago. It's unbelievable what a remarkable turnaround he's done. He's best friends with everybody. He hangs out with the hikers. He takes care of the rodent population, and also the snake population, since there aren't any rodents for the snakes to eat. So Orange Kitty is taking care of business. He's got his own stickers, his own postcards, and he's got a song written about him. And actually, that's something that many of you who don't know me personally, who only know me through YouTube, that's something you don't know about me. I'm actually a musician, self-taught musician. I've been playing most of my adult life on and off, live music, most recently as a one-man band, mostly original music. I would say 90% of the music I play I've written myself. I'm going to be writing background music for this channel as well. I've been playing with my friend Frogtown Phil, who's a outstanding harmonica player. We got an opportunity to play at Mountain Crossings on July 1st. We did a live show. That was the first live performance I had done since 2016. And we did a show, another show at Mountain Crossings at the Fall Festival on the 28th of October. It's been a lot of fun playing live again. And the whole reason I brought this up is because I wrote a song about the Orange Kitty. And at some point I'm gonna produce a video, and I'll get you some video footage of him, and you can hear the song for yourself. That's been pretty much the bulk of what I've been doing the last year. All right, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it. I'm sure there's a lot that I meant to tell you that I'm forgetting about. But like I said before, those stories will have to be for future campfires. I want to say I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving day, and I will see you down the trail.